Hey y'all, I'm Amanda Seales, your favorite funny girl and common sense specialist, and I'm a woman supporting women. Being a woman is a journey, lots of twists and turns. We dealing with things that people don't even know that we're dealing with. Some of the obstacles I face being a woman in the industry are, on a basic note, the concept of being difficult. And this idea that if you have your own ideas or you have your own methodology or processes that's different from the way other people have done it, that you're being difficult because you're somehow like upsetting the apple cart. It's an industry of creatives and artists, but it's being run by people who are not. And so they kind of come from a widget space of like, oh, we did this way, so it's gonna be a template for how we do this way. And I am somebody who is very okay with understanding my unique road that I'm traveling. And I just want to be able to work with folks that are excited about that too. I was being made to feel like if I'm not wanting to collaborate with all these people, or if I'm not wanting to be supported by this big man's name, that I'm somehow like too big for my britches. Well, I just launched my apparel line, Illustrious League, and the first drop for Illustrious League is Save Yourself, and every drop consequently will be around a different message and a unique drawing that has been made by myself. So I'm celebrating Women's History Month by not only moving forward in my own dream to have an apparel line, but also by creating an apparel line that has empowerment in its words, in its design, that really is grounded in like women, and ultimately wanting women to know that like you can save yourself. And I think a lot of us forget that. This is great. Now the truth is all out in the open. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. The reason why I believe women should be represented on screen is because media should be a representation of society, and women are an integral part of society, so we should be an integral part of media. There's not enough of our stories being told to respect the integral part of society that we play. And so that's why we have to continuously be like kicking in the door of media and making our stories heard across the board. Everybody's idea of success isn't the same. Everybody's idea of excellence and quality control isn't the same. And everybody's idea of art isn't the same. And so when you get comfortable with that, you start to operate very differently. And that has been integral as a woman in this business.
Small doses.
And keeping it real.
Small doses.
With me, Amanda Seales. Well, Small Doses, it's funny because it's been out since October 19th. We're about to drop the paperback on April 13th. And I feel like I still don't know how to describe this book. And ultimately, Small Doses is basically just my thoughts on healthy ways we can live in different parts of our life. So career, womanhood, dealing with race issues, leveling up in your life. So self-empowerment, growth. I just feel like when I had the podcast Small Doses, I would talk about all these topics, whether it's anxiety or confidence or breakups. So it's really essentially a reference book on my ideologies around thoughtful ways to manage through all of these different spaces. And ultimately, my goal is always to empower folks to do what's within them. Like, we are taught to save everybody, but we're not taught to like love ourselves, which is fascinating. Because like, how do we do both?
My name is on the marquee.
Give it up for Amanda Seales.
Smart Funny and Black originally just started as a stand-up show in New York because, I don't want to say small, but there was a very limited concept of like what Black comedy was. But we all know that Black folks are not a monolith, and either is our comedy. So why isn't there a wider space? So I just started Smart Funny and Black because I wanted to create this other space that's like for comics that are Black, but are also a little bit more heady. It's actually a variety music game show because we have so many different elements going on. We have a live band. Well, this is back when we could perform live. We had a live band, an interactive audience. We have our guests doing all types of games that involve performance, that involve intellect, that involve comedy, etc. So it becomes like a 2-hour full-on theatrical experience for the viewer. And now we have made an In the Crib version for the virtual space, since we are in the crib because there's a pandemic. But the goal is to really let people know that like Black content that is rooted in an intellectual space is desired by viewers. And I think for a long time, there's just been this thought process that that's not the case. And it's really disrespectful. I mean, I've had an exec tell me, you know, our Black audience doesn't read books. We are taught when we're younger that a Prince Charming is going to come save us, or there's going to need to be some sort of magical moment, and not realizing that like that's all within us. We're taught to be dependent in a way that we don't need to be. And it's not to say that you cannot be enriched by outside forces, but it's important to know that you can still be enriched from your internal forces.